Mr. Ajay Bagga. Thank you, Mr. Bagga, for coming right here on Markets Forward. My first question to you, while we broke that two-day losing streak today, the November series still saw a cut of about 3%. What do you make of this, and do you expect any kind of short covering within the December series itself? What are the cues that you're watchful for?
See, the rollovers have been quite strong. So people have rolled over their positions in individual stocks as well as the Nifty and the Nifty Bank. So overall positions have stayed on. There was no short covering rally today per se. It was more, we saw it as a very broad-based rally that came in today, which was more or less on expected line, especially with the US market shut. Some amount of selling didn't come from that quarter. But overall, if you see the market from the March high has had a time-wise correction, has had time to digest the lack of earnings growth. So today, we would say it's a market which has formed a strong base in the 7,700, 7,800 range. And from here, it could then look for a trigger to launch higher, is what I would say. Technically, market is looking weaker because of lower, peaks and lower bottoms. Yeah. So technically, it could go down to 7,600. Now there, I think the catalyst will be how the winter session pans out. I think that is the biggest. The Fed rate hike is more or less discounted into most emerging markets, including ours.
Okay, so since you spoke about the winter session of Parliament, that is something that most analysts have been watching out for. If the GST does go through, if crucial bills like the GST or bankruptcy bill do go through, what specifically is the up move that you can expect, and how much of an impact would that have on the December series?
It would be sentimentally a big booster, and it will also invite FIs to relook at us. We have had very dismal FI numbers for quite some time, and overall, if you see 2014 calendar, we got nearly about $40 billion across debt and equities. This year, we've got only 15 billion. So I would say the Nifty could really rally another 200 points just on if we could get the GST and a couple of the other legislation through.
So we're already sitting at 7,900 or inching closer to 7,900. How much of an up move can you expect if GST goes through?
Yeah, I would say 8,100 is a big possibility. And then we have to look at other factors. Earnings are not supportive. That's the big thing. But sentimentally, this market could go 200, 250 points up if we have a good outcome from the winter session.
And if it's a bad outcome, if it doesn't get passed, what's the level that you're expecting?
Not much lower than here, maybe 100 points, but mostly it is discounted. So pessimism is more or less discounted. We are not really factoring in GST going through. So that would be a surprise for the market.
All right, we'll go a little bit more into the micros in just a bit, Mr. Bagga. But let's also now look at all the stocks which you should